we started to work on the roadmap for the oligarchization. So if we do it together, I know it's difficult, but how would you actually do it?
And my thought on this was to compare it to the situation in the United States at the end of the 1800s, early 1900s. We had a handful of individuals who owned disproportionate pieces of the growing economy, oil, steel, transportation, and they were integrating these in their businesses, both vertically and horizontally, and it was distorting the economy. And they were beginning to exercise the same kind of outsized political influence that we see in Ukraine. What we did in the United States was to implement antitrust legislation, where we set limits on the amount that any one business or entity or individual could control. And by doing so, forced them to sell off assets. We broke up business empires. We sold off assets. And in doing that, we didn't take away their money. We said, sell it off, come into compliance, you keep your money, and these people became the leaders of philanthropy and foundations in the US. Now, who are we talking about? Carnegie, Mellon, Rockefeller, names that now you associate with the great, Morgan Stanley, J.P. Morgan. You associate these with great things in the US right now. But 130 years ago, these were all black marks. If you were one of these people, it was a problem. And so we managed to do that successfully. We're very lucky, I suppose, that we did that. But I think something similar needs to happen in Ukraine. You need to focus on antitrust legislation, define what the appropriate limits are, give people time to divest, don't let them keep the money and reinvest in other areas, give them some form of, for lack of a better word, amnesty, but don't go looking back into the past, look forward if they come into compliance because the country needs it. And I think if that were to happen, it would create a demand from these very same businessmen, a demand for the rule of law. Because in order to protect the economic interests and businesses that remain, they need the rule of law to work.